Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, my dear students. Okay, welcome to this fresh new series of computer science classes for second PUC. Okay, based on the new NCERT syllabus. So, my dear students, in this series, we will be starting chapter by chapter from the very beginning. From the very beginning. Before starting each chapter, we will first take a bird's eye view every time. Okay. Now, let me tell you what is the bird's eye view. Okay. It simply means a quick overview of the chapter. Okay. For example, देखिए, like when a bird flies very high and sees everything from the top. Okay. एक परिंदा ऊपर जाके सारी चीजें एक ही बार में देखता है. ओके, बहुत सारी चीजें उसको एक ही बार में नजर आती है. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज अ बर्ड्स आई व्यू. ओके, we will look at the main topics and key idea of the chapter. Okay, what are the key things we are learning from that chapter in a simple way before deep diving. That is called as a bird's eye view. Okay, so some important note before starting the chapters. Okay, some important note for you. Please keep a notebook ready and note down all important points. Okay, that is point number one. Point number two, if you have any doubts, don't hesitate. Just ask me anytime in our WhatsApp group. Okay, we have our WhatsApp group. You can post your questions there. Okay, as soon as I find time, I will reply to all your questions. This journey will be very easy and fun if we learn together and stay consistent. Okay, consistency is a key thing. Okay, to get succeeded. You watch the video today and you just leave it. It's not like that. Okay, so give some like plan accordingly in your timetable and give a regular time to the computer science subject, and inshallah you will score very good marks. Okay, so let's begin this learning journey together. Okay, bismillah rahman rahim. Okay, so starting with our chapter 1. Okay, what is the first chapter we have? The first chapter we have is exception handling in Python. Okay, so as usual, during my previous classes, what you have heard in the first year, okay, as usual, my routine is every time I will explain the topic first. What is the chapter telling about? Okay, first of all, भाई चैप्टर समझने से पहले हमें चैप्टर का नाम समझना है. दैट इज द वेरी की थिंग. ओके, दैट इज काइंड ऑफ किक स्टार्ट फॉर यू. ओके, इट इज लाइक स्टार्टिंग योर बाइक. बिना गाड़ी स्टार्ट किए यू कांट मूव फॉरवर्ड. ओके, दैट्स व्हाट आई बिलीव. ओके, सो first I will tell you what is the chapter telling about. Okay, so we have three words in this chapter, that is exception, handling, and in Python. Okay, what is exception? What do you mean by handling? And we know Python is a programming language. Okay, so we will be seeing exception handling in Python. Okay, now first of all, and one more thing to add up, in this entire chapter, for each and every topic we will be relating our each and every topic, subtopic, each and every point to the real world example. Okay, what I believe is learning through real world example will be very effective. Okay, rather than just reading the textbook like some kind of PDF readers and all. So I believe in giving good examples and effective real world example what we see with our eyes. Okay, so that is one thing. So first of all, let's focus on what is exception. Okay, let us see what is exception. Exception ke maani kya hai? What is exception? Okay, let me tell you, an exception is an error. Please remember, exception is an error. That is one thing. Okay, that happens or that occurs while your program is running. Okay, when your programming is running, at that time whatever the error occurs is known as exception. Okay, which stops it from working properly. Okay, that is known as the exception. I know समझ में नहीं आया होगा. We need a real life example. Okay, so before that, it's like when you're doing a task and something goes wrong. For example, you try to divide a number by 0. That's a problem, and Python doesn't know what to do that, and it raises an exception. ठीक है, जब भी आप कोई नंबर 0 से डिवाइड करेंगे तो पाइथन को पता नहीं चलेगा कि भाई करना क्या है. Okay, and if you want to really try it out, you can take your mobile phone, simply your mobile phone, open the calculator and just type any number and try to divide it by 0. It will give you an error. It will give you an error because you cannot divide any number by 0. आप कोई भी number 0 से divide कर ही नहीं सकते. ನೀವು ಒಂದು number ನ 0 ಇಂದ divide ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸಾಧ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲ. Understood? So, keeping that in mind, whenever Python encounters these kind of things, it raises an exception. Okay. So here is a small screenshot of that. If you divide any number by 0, you will get an error. If you want to try it on the calculators, if you give any number and divide it by 0, it will give you an error. अगर error करके पूरा word नहीं दिखेगा, at least it will show a E symbol or a E letter stating that it is an error. It is into the error state. Okay. Having understood that, okay, let's compare this with our one real life example. Okay, let's take one real life example. Suppose you go to an ATM. Okay, आपके पापा ने ATM कार्ड आपको दिया है and he tells you कि बेटा withdraw 10,000 rupees from my ATM. Okay, you go to the ATM, you try to withdraw 10,000 rupees from your ATM, but what happens? It gives you an error or a small error message on the screen stating that insufficient balance. Okay, मान लो आपके अकाउंट में सिर्फ 5,000 है and you try to withdraw 10,000 rupees. Is that possible? No, that is not at all possible. In that case, ATM will crash. Will the ATM machine crash? ATM machine बंद हो जाएगा क्या? या आपका कार्ड ब्लॉक हो जाएगा? या आपका कार्ड काम करना बंद हो जाएगा? No, it doesn't do any dhamaka. It will just show you a simple error stating that insufficient balance. That is what exactly an exception. Understood? Let me take another example. Okay, example से stories से बहुत अच्छे से topic समझ में आता है. One more example. Okay, a small boy goes to the milk shop. Okay, he takes the money from the mom. अम्मी से पैसे ले लेता है बच्चा and he takes the bag to carry the milk. And he goes to the milk shop. What is the plan? What is the happy path? कि भाई बच्चे के पास पैसे भी है, दूध की थैली भी है, वो जाएगा दुकान पे and he purchases the milk. But what happens? What is an exception here? He goes to the shop and he finds the shop is closed. भाई दूध की दुकान बंद है. What he will do? What he will do? यहाँ पर जो दुकान बंद हो गया, that is an exception. Okay. दिस इज अनप्लान्ड सिचुएशन. मतलब आपको मालूम नहीं कि भाई दुकान बंद है, बट कोई ऐसी अनप्लान्ड और अनसर्टन चीजें आपके काम में आड़ा आ जाती है, विच इन कंप्यूटर साइंस वी कॉल इट एज एन एक्सेप्शन. क्लियर गाइज? एंड व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय एक्सेप्शन हैंडलिंग? ओके, द अदर पार्ट. लेट्स फोकस ऑन हैंडलिंग नाउ. व्हाट इज एक्सेप्शन हैंडलिंग? वी सॉ व्हाट इज एक्सेप्शन, नाउ विल सी व्हाट इज एक्सेप्शन हैंडलिंग. अब बच्चा देखा कि भाई हाँ दूध का दुकान बंद है. ಓಕೆ, ಹಾಲು ತಗೊಂಬರಕ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾನ ಅವನು. ಶಾಪ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನ ಅವನು? क्या करेगा बच्चा? विल ही सिट ऑन द रोड एंड क्राई? क्या वो रोड पे बैठ के रोएगा? नो, नो, राइट? सो ही विल हैंडल द सिचुएशन. हाउ ही विल हैंडल द सिचुएशन? आइदर ही विल गो टू द नेक्स्ट शॉप, कोई और दुकान ढूंढ लेगा, और एल्स जस्ट कम बैक टू द होम एंड टेल मॉम कि मैंने गया था, दुकान बंद था. दैट इज व्हाट ही डज, राइट? दैट इज एग्जैक्टली कॉल्ड एज एक्सेप्शन हैंडलिंग. Again, coming back to our technical talk, exception handling means, okay, whenever a Python encounters or stops working, it will throw you some kind of user-friendly message. Okay, it will let the programmer know certain things has went wrong. Okay, and as a programmer, you consume that message and do certain tasks. That is known as exception handling in Python. That is all about this chapter, guys. That's all about this chapter. Okay, so we'll do one thing. As to get started, I'll just write down what is the definition of an exception. Okay, an exception is like an unexpected real world error, it's a real world error, and handling it means giving a proper message or giving a proper response to the user instead of crashing the entire application. Guys, this is the exact definition of exception or exception handling. Okay, it is like an unexpected real world error. Okay, exception is an unexpected real world error, and handling it means giving a proper response to the user instead of crashing the entire application. Guys, literally this is the definition. Okay, now having understood the topic, let's come to the bird's eye view. Okay, what do you mean by bird's eye view? Again, high level overview of the entire chapter, that is called as bird's eye view. Okay, since we have already covered the introduction, okay, that's all about the introduction, whatever you have heard it till now. Understood? Okay, again, once I start, again I'll retouch the introduction part. Now, next thing we have is syntax error. Okay, in this chapter you will be learning about the syntax error. Again guys, you have already learned about syntax error in the first year, but again, since we have in the curriculum, we'll once again revisit the syntax error. Then actually we have exceptions. Okay, here we will bit deep dive what is exception, where and all we can see the exception. We'll see some of the syntax and examples here. Okay, next, coming to the very important topic, guys, please mark it. Okay, it's an important topic, inbuilt exceptions. Okay, you will get what we call MCQs and maybe 5 marks questions from this. Okay, built-in exceptions. So we have 12 built-in exceptions for your curriculum. Okay, those are listed here. Now, after that, one more topic we'll be seeing, raising and exceptions. Okay, in that we have two types, that is raise statement and assert statement. Don't worry, we'll again deep dive into each and every topic. Next, we have handling exceptions. Okay, during handling, what are the subtopics involved in that? Okay, the first one is need for exception handling. Okay, yak ಬೇಕು ನಮಗೆ exception handling. What is the idea behind? What is the need? Okay, and next one is process of handling the exception. Actually, how we will process and how we will handle, how we will catch the exceptions. Okay, third one is all about catching the exceptions. Exception has occurred, how do you catch it, how do we handle it? Then last topic we have is try except else clause. Again, don't worry, we will deep dive in those topics later in the video, later in the lecture, guys. The last is finally clause. Finally, we will learn finally clause. That sounds a bit funny, right? Finally is a keyword, finally is a clause which we will learn in this chapter. All set, guys? Keep your notebooks ready. We will start from the introduction first. So let's see about the introduction first. Okay, what is exception? What is exception handling in the real world? Okay, so first, as I told you, the definition of an exception. Okay, an exception is an unexpected real world error. Okay, and what does handling means? It means giving a proper response to the user instead of crashing the entire application. That is the definition. Okay, now we will take on real world example of ATM. Okay, and we'll try to understand in a detailed manner. See, consider the situation. You go to an ATM to withdraw, let's say, for example, 2000 rupees. But your bank balance is only 1000 rupees. What happens? The ATM doesn't crash, right? The ATM doesn't shut down itself. The ATM doesn't turn off itself, but instead shows a message like insufficient balance, right? Okay, let's relate this to the programming. Okay, how it relates to the programming exception? Listen carefully. Trying to withdraw trying to withdraw more than your balance is a problem, right? Okay, whenever you go to the ATM, you can't withdraw the amount uh, greater than what's there in your account. So trying to withdraw more than your balance is a problem, guys. Okay, that is the runtime error, just like an exception in the programming. Okay, instead of shutdowning the ATM handles the issue and shows the user-friendly message on the screen stating that insufficient balance. समझ में आ गया guys? Okay, do you want me to explain in Urdu? Okay, जब भी आप ATM जाएंगे, ATM में आपके पास 1000 रुपए ही है आपके अकाउंट में और आप कोशिश करते हैं 2000 रुपए निकालने की, which is not possible, जो कि मुमकिन नहीं है। तो क्या एटीएम मशीन बंद हो जाएगा? क्या एटीएम मशीन शटडाउन हो जाएगा या आपका कार्ड बंद हो जाएगा? नहीं, इसमें से कोई भी नहीं होगा। इसके बजाय बस एक स्क्रीन पे छोटा सा मैसेज आएगा इनसफिशिएंट बैलेंस करके। अंडरस्टूड? दैट इज एन एक्सेप्शन इन द एटीएम मशीन। अंडरस्टूड गाइस? That is exactly the introduction of the exceptions handling. Okay, let's go to the next topic. Okay, starting with syntax errors. Guys, you're masters in syntax error. You're masters in doing syntax errors, right? Okay. As a beginner, every programmer will do syntax errors, right? Okay. What is a syntax error? Guys, you all know. Please tell me that definition. What is a syntax error? Okay. So syntax errors are the grammatical mistakes you do while writing the Python program. Okay. Syntax error, these are like grammar mistakes. Okay, Python checks your code line by line. Okay, if the structure is wrong, it won't run at all. Okay, अगर आपके प्रोग्राम में कुछ भी गलती है वो प्रोग्राम रन ही नहीं होगा। Understood? Okay, again, as I told you, we will take each and every topic and relate with the real world example. Guys, what is a real world example we can have? Let me think. Okay, like let's suppose करो कि you are writing a address on the courier parcel. ठीक है, किसी को आप courier parcel कर रहे हैं, आप उसके ऊपर जो है address लिख रहे हैं, and see you are writing an address on a courier parcel and missing the pin code. Will the parcel reach? No, the parcel does not reach. आप parcel के ऊपर address तो लिख रहे हैं, but you are missing what? Pin code. पिन कोड अगर आप मिस कर रहे हैं तो कैसे चलेगा काम? नो, द पार्सल डजंट रीच टू द कंसर्न्ड पर्सन, सो दैट इज एग्जैक्टली द सिंटैक्स एरर. ओके, जो प्रोग्राम के कायदे हैं ಏನೇನ್ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಫಾಲೋ ದ ರೂಲ್ಸ್. ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ವಿತ್ an example, programming example. I have my idle shell open over here. Okay, let's write a simple print statement. Okay, print, we'll say hello world. Oops, hello world, right? Is my Python statement syntactically correct? Yes, my Python statement is syntactically correct and it should execute without any hiccups. Okay, without any problems it should execute. Let's hit enter and see. Cool, it is working. Why? Because I don't have any syntactical errors in my Python statement. Let's try to add some errors now. Okay, I'll do print bracket open and I'll say hello world. Is my statement correct? No, I am missing a double quotes and a bracket close, right? So let's try to hit enter. It should give me probably syntax error. See, syntax error, unterminated string literal. Okay, detected at line 1. It is clearly telling जो स्ट्रिंग हमने ओपन किया है ना ही उसको क्लोज किया ना ही हमारे पास क्लोजिंग ब्रैकेट है. सो दैट इज अ सिंटैक्स एरर. ओके, सो बेसिकली जो भी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज, कंसीडर एनी प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज, ओके, which basically runs on the server, if you do any grammatical mistake, even a single dot, जो प्रोग्राम के रूल से अगर आप फॉलो नहीं करेंगे, you will get a syntax error. Understood guys? That is all about your syntax error. Okay, cool. Having understood that, we are done with the syntax errors. Let's jump to the next topic. Okay, coming to the third topic, that is exceptions. Okay, our core topic, exceptions. Okay, so what is exception? First of all, okay, again we know the definition, but here considering why exception, कब आएगा exception, right? See, syntax is correct but something goes wrong when the program is running. भाई मेरा सिंटैक्स तो करेक्ट है, लेकिन जब प्रोग्राम रन हो रहा है कुछ तो गड़बड़ है उसके अंदर, then you are getting the exception. That is exactly an exception. Okay, again recall our ATM wala example. Okay, you go to the ATM, you like to withdraw 5,000 but your balance is zero, let's suppose. Okay, machine works, your card also works, but still transaction is failed. Why? You don't have the sufficient balance. That is an exception over here. Okay, let's take another example for exception. Okay, you take any number, try to divide it by 0. Okay, let me live show you here. I'll just open up my calculator. Okay, because we can't divide any number by 0. I'll just take 12 divided by 0. Let's try. See, cannot divide by 0. Okay, it is clearly stating that you cannot divide it by 0. So this calculator is a program. Okay, this calculator is designed and is written using some programming language, and they have handled the exception, and they are giving a user friendly message to me stating that cannot divide by 0. ಓಕೆ, ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಪರ್ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಕತ್ತೀರೋ 12 ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್ ಬೈ 0 ಅದನ್ನು ಮಾಡಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಥಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟರ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್? If you closely look, when I did 12 by 0, did my computer shut down? No. क्या मेरा कंप्यूटर बंद हो गया? नहीं. क्या मेरा कंप्यूटर क्रैश हो गया? नहीं. क्या मेरा कैलकुलेटर भी बंद हो गया? नहीं. Instead of that, it gave me a user friendly message stating that you cannot divide by 0. That is called your exception, guys. That is exception. That's all. There is no rocket science in the exception. That is exception. Okay. Whenever something unexpected happens in the real world, that is called as exception. Okay, that is exception. Okay, having understood about the exception, we'll go to the next topic. So our next topic is built-in exceptions. Guys, what is built-in exceptions? As usual, what is built-in? Built-in का मतलब क्या है? Okay, let me give you a real world example in built-in also. Okay, so built in का एक real world example हम लोग लेते हैं. Okay, just like your phone. Okay, whatever the Android device you have right now in which you're watching this video literally. Okay, your phone comes with the built-in calculator app, right? Okay, my laptop also comes with the built-in calculator app here, as you can see. Okay, what do you mean by built-in? Built-in means ready to use without downloading or installing. ओके आपने फोन खरीदा, फोन के साथ ही आपको जो है कैलकुलेटर, यूट्यूब, गूगल, मे बी फेसबुक ऐप, ये सब आपको फोन के साथ ही मिल जाते हैं, उसको अलग से डाउनलोड करके इंस्टॉल करने की जरूरत नहीं है. दैट इज एग्जैक्टली नोन एज बिल्ट इन. सो even in our Python also we have some of the built-in exceptions. Okay, again if you recall our previous first year's class, we had some built-in functions, right? Okay, what are the built-in functions like input, print? These are all the built-in functions we have in Python. Again, we have built-in modules also. Okay, math module and some other modules. Okay, we have many inbuilt modules, which means these are the components which comes bundled with your Python. As soon as you install Python, it will get all the required things. That is built-in. In the same way, we have built-in exceptions also in our Python. Okay, so for your curriculum, how many built-in exceptions we have? We have 12 built-in exceptions, guys. We have 12 built-in exceptions. That is, first one, syntax error. That is also an exception. Okay, because exception is an unplanned error. That is an error only. That's why it's called a syntax error. Okay, syntax error is also an exception. Guys, don't get confused. Syntax error is one built-in exception we have in Python. Value error, IO error. IO means input output error. Okay, and just for your information, guys, just for your information, where do I write? I'll write it here. IO error. Okay, IO error means let me just write it down. Okay, IO error means OS error. Okay, input output error is also called as OS error. What is OS? OS means operating system. Guys, please note down, all these abbreviations are really important. What is IO? IO means input and output. What is OS? OS means operating system. Okay, OS error, operating system error. Right. Coming to the next one, what's happening? Okay, coming to the next one, we have keyboard interrupt. Next one, we have import error. Next, we have EOF error. What do you mean by EOF? EOF means end of file error. Okay, just you should note down all these abbreviations. EOF means end of file. Next, we have zero division error. We have index error. We have name error. We have indentation error. Your all favorite error. Next one, we have type error. Next, overflow error. Guys, without wasting any time, we will deep dive in each and every exception, each and every built-in exception to be precise. Okay, let's take first one, syntax error. Okay, again, we have seen the syntax error already here. Okay, when we will get this error, whenever you broke the Python's grammar rule. Okay, whenever you break the Python's grammar rule, at that time syntax error will come, which is also an exception, which is also an built-in exception, that is called as syntax error. Okay, in this example, you forgot the closing bracket. Okay, and you forgot the double quotes. Okay, that's why you get an error over here. Having understood that, let's go to the second error, that is value error. We will see what is this value error. Okay, pay attention, guys. Okay, first let me tell you what is value error. What does it mean? You gave the right type but a wrong value. ठीक है, डेटा का जो टाइप है आपने सही दिया है, लेकिन उस टाइप का डेटा आपने नहीं दिया है. दैट इज कॉल्ड एज वैल्यू एरर. अंडरस्टूड? Let me explain you with an example. Okay, we all know about int. What is int? Int is an integer. It will take only integer, but I will give 10. Is this correct? Yes, that is correct. Okay, it has accepted the 10 and it has printed the 10. Right? Now, भाई मेरा डेटा टाइप इंट है, मैं उसको डेटा भी इंट ही दूंगा ना, देना चाहिए ना आइडियली. तो काम करेगा. मैं क्या करूंगा, इंट को अपना नाम दूंगा उस्मान. इज इट करेक्ट? व्हाट इज उस्मान? उस्मान इज अ स्ट्रिंग, इट इज अ इंग्लिश वर्ड. आई एम गिविंग इट टू द इंटीजर डेटा टाइप. यहाँ पे इंट है, ये स्ट्रिंग है, एसटीआर है. I will surely get the value error because I tried to convert a word to a number, which is not possible, guys. See, we got the value error. Invalid literal. See, base 10. Invalid literal for int. Integer के function के लिए जो हम literal दिए हैं वो invalid है. Because int के लिए int का डेटा ही देना पड़ेगा. int के लिए int का डेटा हम यहाँ पर नहीं दिए. इसीलिए we got a value error. Understood, guys? That is all about the value error. Moving to the next built-in exception, that is IO error, which is also known as OS error. Okay, there is a link between OS and IO, guys. Okay, we have already seen in the basics chapter. फर्स्ट ईयर के जो बेसिक चैप्टर में है, OS क्या होता है, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, IO क्या होता है, इनपुट आउटपुट. वी हैव सीन ऑल दिस थिंग्स. ओके, नाउ लेट मी एक्सप्लेन यू व्हाट इज IO error. Okay, for example, let's consider, what does it mean? It means input or output problem. Okay, this IO error comes whenever there is an input or output problem, like file not found or can't be opened. Okay, for example, कोई एक फाइल है आपके पास, मान लो if you have a text file, you have an audio file, you have a video file, you have a document file, whatever it is, and you're trying to open a file which is not existing, then you will get a IO error. Understood? Okay, for example, let me give you an example. भाई सब कुछ अगर example से समझेंगे will be very clear. To open a file, there is a function called as open in Python, for which I need to pass a file name. मैं दूंगा usman file dot txt. ऐसा नाम का कोई फाइल मेरे कंप्यूटर में है ही नहीं, and I'm trying to open. What is the ideal approach? What it should happen? It should give me an error कि भाई that file is not existing. Shall we try? Hit enter and here is an error. File not found error. Okay, if you read the description, it is stating in clear English, no such file or directory. कैसी? usman file dot txt करके कोई फाइल है ही नहीं भाई. No such file or directory. ओके ऐसा कोई फाइल है ही नहीं. Now you might be wondering, there it is written as IO error, but here it is showing it as a file not found error. That is because फाइल के अंदर कुछ है ही नहीं तो वो आउटपुट क्या करेगा. सो दैट इज रिलेटेड टू द आउटपुट एरर. अंडरस्टूड. एंड दैट हैज अकर्ड ड्यू टू OS error. Understood. IO error is also called as OS error in Python. To be precise, Python 3. Python के versions भी है guys. Okay. Python 1, Python 2 ऐसे versions है. So Python 3 जो current version we are using is Python 3. Okay. So Python 3 में IO error is also called as OS error. Understood. Hope you people are following guys. Okay. The next one we have is keyboard interrupt. Okay. The fourth inbuilt exception we have is keyboard interrupt. What do you mean by keyboard interrupt? भाई नाम को देख के हम लोग पता कर सकते हैं कीबोर्ड से होने वाले इंटरप्शन को हम लोग कीबोर्ड इंटरप्ट बोलते हैं. लिटरली गाइस कीबोर्ड से जो हम इंटरप्शन करते हैं उसको इंटरप्ट बोलते हैं, कीबोर्ड इंटरप्ट बोलते हैं. ओके. Like you all guys interrupt me while taking class, right? Okay. In the same way, keyboard interrupt means the interruption which is done to the program using the keyboard is called as keyboard interrupt. मान लो कोई प्रोग्राम चल रहा है, रन हो रहा है, ओके, उसको आप बीच में कीबोर्ड से इंटरप्ट करते हैं, उस प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूशन को आप छेड़छाड़ करते हैं, मतलब उसको रुका देते हैं, then you will get an exception called as keyboard interrupt exception. Again we'll see with an example. Okay, क्या लेंगे example? Let me think. Okay, while true. Okay, ये while true क्या करेगा? It will run the while loop for infinity. मतलब कभी भी ये प्रोग्राम चलता रहेगा, so that I can do interruption. Okay, and see it has automatically indented. I'll just have a keyword called as pass. Guys, simply pass is nothing but like it is simply a statement in Python, is a null operation. Okay, when it is executed it does nothing. Okay, it's kind of a dummy statement you can consider. Okay, so here in this example what I have while true and pass. Okay, still this is not running. As soon as I hit enter it will start running. Okay, shall we start running it? Okay, the program is running. No matter how many enter I give, the program is running because I have the while true. It means it is in the infinite loop. अभी मेरा program चल रहा है. Now what we are interested in? We are interested in keyboard interrupt. अभी मेरे keyboard से इस program को मुझे interruption करना है. So I will make use of the key Control and C. Okay, Control key आपके keyboard पे hold करना है और C press करना है. Okay, you see? कीबोर्ड इंटरप्ट एरर आया, मेरे को एक्सेप्शन आया. ओके, व्हाट आई डिड, ये जो प्रोग्राम अच्छे से चल रहा था इसको मैं जाके उंगली किया. कैसे उंगली किया? आई जस्ट प्रेस्ड कंट्रोल सी. ओके, इट डिड एन इंटरप्ट एंड इट गेव मी एन एक्सेप्शन कॉल्ड एज कीबोर्ड इंटरप्ट. समझ में आ रहा गाइस? अगेन एक्सेप्शन क्या है भाई? इट इज एन अनप्लान्ड एरर. मतलब प्रोग्राम चल रहा है उसके बीच में कुछ तो एरर हो रहा है, वी गेट एन एक्सेप्शन. दैट्स ऑल गाइस, नो रॉकेट साइंस. Hope you guys are following. Okay, having understood this, let's go to the next built-in exception, that is fifth one, that is import error. Guys, what is import? आपने import statement सुना है? जरूर सुना है. During the first year classes what I took for you, we used import statement to import the modules in Python program. How do we import? We use the keyword called as import and the module name. For example, import math. Will import math module in my program, right? When I get this import error, okay, ये import error मेरे को कब मिलेगा? Again, when Python can't find the file or a module, okay, जो आप मॉड्यूल इंपोर्ट करना चाह रहे हैं जब वो उसको मिलेगा नहीं, देन इट विल गिव यू एन इंपोर्ट एरर. ओके, और व्हेन यू ट्राई टू इंपोर्ट एनी मॉड्यूल व्हिच इज नॉट एग्जिस्टिंग, जो है नहीं उसको इंपोर्ट करने की जब आप कोशिश कर रहे हैं, देन यू विल गेट अ इंपोर्ट एरर एक्सेप्शन, टू बी प्रिसाइज, राइट? ओके, नाउ लेट्स ट्राई इंपोर्ट मैथ. भाई मैथ करके फंक्शन अवेलेबल है, सॉरी मॉड्यूल अवेलेबल है पाइथन में. हाँ, मैथ मॉड्यूल पाइथन में अवेलेबल है. आई विल हिट एंटर, इट हैज इंपोर्टेड. ओके, नाउ आई विल ट्राई टू इंपोर्ट समथिंग कॉल्ड एज उस्मान. उस्मान करके कोई मॉड्यूल पाइथन में है ही नहीं, किसी ने बनाई नहीं. Okay, when I try to import this module, it should give me import error. Right, see, module not found error. Okay, it is not able to import that file, that module to be precise. Okay, देखो बेटा, file something something line 1 in module. Okay, ये वाला module, no module named Usman. Usman नामी कोई module Python में है ही नहीं, so you can't import it. So this is about your import error. Okay, there is no module named Usman, then you will get a import error. Okay, and this module not found error is as part of import error. Got it, guys? Clear hai import error tak? Still we have many built-in exceptions. Okay, let's take EOF exception. Okay, what is EOF exception or EOF error? It is end of file. Okay, end of file का मतलब क्या है? You have reached the end of file. किसी भी file का end भी होता है, start भी होता है. It means you have reached already the end of file. Okay, what does it mean? Program is expecting some input from the user, but user is not giving the input. At that time you will get an error. What error? EOF error. Okay, अब input कहाँ देंगे हम लोग? We will give in the input function. Okay, let's say enter a number. Okay, this is the input statement. As soon as I hit enter, my Python is waiting for me to enter some number, give me some input. Okay, Python program बोल रहा है कि भाई मुझे कुछ input दो. मैं क्या करूंगा? Input दूंगा भाई, ले ले 10. It has taken and given me the 10 back. Understood? Now what I will do? I will do the same thing and I will not give him the input. Okay, that's what we are interested in. Enter a number. ठीक है? Now here it is expecting me to give any number, but मैं क्या करूंगा? इसको number नहीं दूंगा. I will just terminate the program by pressing Ctrl D on my keyboard. See, you got EOF error, guys. EOF when reading a line. It is not able to read the line. Okay. दोनों examples आपके सामने है. See the difference. Compare both examples. Okay. पहले example में क्या बता रहे हैं? Enter a number, you have given the input, it is working fine, happy, happy. Okay, now here it is giving input, enter a number, and here you have not given any input, right? Program is expecting some input, but you're not interested in giving the input at all. Then you will get an exception called as EOF error. What is EOF? EOF means end of file when reading a line. मतलब ये लाइन रीड करते समय उसने एंड तक आ गया है, it didn't find any input to him. Okay, input to the program. That's why you get a EOF error. Hope this is clear, guys. Okay, coming to the next built-in exception, that is zero division error. What is zero division error, guys? Zero division error is this one. We have already seen. Okay, if you try to divide any number by zero, you will get an error. Okay, to be precise, you will get a zero division error. Okay, let us see. Okay, you do 10 plus 20. What should be the answer? 30. Okay, you do 20 divided by 2. You will get 10. Now, if you try to divide 20 by 0, is that possible? Okay, see guys, in mathematics, you cannot divide any number by 0. That is a rule. You cannot divide any number by 0. Remember, any calculator, any device in this world cannot divide a number by 0. Even your Python can't. That's why it will give you a zero division error, guys. Hit enter. See, you got a zero division error exception. When this will occur? When you try to divide any number by 0, जब आप कोई number 0 से divide करने की कोशिश करेंगे, जब आपको आएगा division error. You cannot divide any number by 0. That's why you will get division by 0 error. Hope this is clear. Okay, these are very small topic, guys. Okay, ये एक टॉपिक के अंदर if you deep dive, we have many topics. Okay, and these are very small topics. Coming to the next built-in exception, that is index error. What is index error? Guys, we have already seen index error in the first year. Okay, and to give you hint, when do we see index error? Or in which chapter do we see index error? We see usually index error in strings and list chapter. Recall, strings or list wale chapter mein we had seen the index error. Don't worry, we had 2 months holidays and I totally agree, you might have totally forgot. I'll recall the same concept for you guys. Okay, index, what do you mean by index? Shall we recall my list? याद आ रहा है कुछ तो? List, square brackets, 10, 20, 30, 40. You guys might have guessed it now. Okay, this is my list in Python. Okay, and every element in the list will have index starting from 0. Now what are the index in this list? In this list I have 0 over here, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, if I want to access the number 30, what should be the index? That is 0, 1 and 2. 30 is present at the second index, 2 index. 40 is present at the 3 index. Got it guys? Let's try to print it. Okay, print my list of, if I give 2, what should be the answer? It should be 30 because 30 is present at the 2 index. Understood? Okay. Now if I try to print, or if I try to guess an index which is not existing, what happens? What happens? Let's try to give. It gives me an index error guys, because जो index मैं देख रहा हूं that is out of range, that is not at all present in my list. How can I get? Okay, इसके पास index 0, 1, 2, 3 तक ही है, मैं 4 पूछ रहा हूं, वो कहां से लाएगा भाई बेचारा. Okay, list only has 4 items, but you are asking for the fifth item. How can he get? He can't get it, right? Exactly. That is what index error. Okay. And moving on to the next built-in exception, that is name error. What do you mean by name error? What does it mean? You used a variable or a function that doesn't exist. ठीक है भाई, जो मैं definitions बोल रहा हूँ, these are one line definitions. You guys need to note it down, okay, because these will be asked as part of your fill up the blanks and MCQs. Remember guys, सिर्फ story सुनने जैसा सुनना नहीं है. Programming subject is all about hands on and you should be gone writing. Okay, so what is name error? Name error means you are using some variable or some function that doesn't exist. ठीक है, अब मैं क्या करूंगा? I'll try to print my list जो ऊपर already है. My list print करूंगा, print हो जाएगा because list है भाई, print कर देगा. In the same way, if I try to print let's say marks करके कोई variable में define किया क्या ऊपर? Tell me guys, no. And I'll try to find it. You will get a name error. It is clearly telling name error. Name marks is not defined. भाई तूने marks करके कोई variable define ही नहीं किया. How do you expect me to print? That is not possible. See, whenever you are printing something which is not present in the program, then you will get a name error. Okay, guys. Moving on to the next built-in exception. Guys, again, if you are facing issues, समझ नहीं आ रहा है, YouTube पे वीडियो है, ओके, ऑलवेज रिवाइंड, पीछे जाके वीडियो देखो, पीछे जाके वीडियो देखो, रिवाइंड करके वीडियो देखो. ओके, एक बार नहीं, 2 बार नहीं, यू कैन सी इट 1000 times. Okay, because instead of taking the live class, I'm recording the session and putting it on YouTube. The intention is you have the access to the classes anytime, anywhere. Okay, you're traveling, you're in home, you're in your nani's house, wherever you are, you can just log in, you can watch the class. Okay, that is the main intention. I'm providing these lectures online. Okay, so make most out of this. Okay, coming to the indentation error. What is indentation error? This indentation is yours and mine's favorite error. Okay, we have been doing indentation error all the way in our first year. We have done indentation error in our lab, even in our records, even in our observation books, everywhere we have done the indentation error. Now we are finally in touch with the indentation error. Finally हम उसको पकड़ लिए. What is indentation error? Okay, what does it mean? Indentation error occurs whenever you don't follow Python's spacing rule. What is indentation? Indentation means giving some spaces to make the blocks of the code. When you don't follow that spacing rule, you will get a indentation error. For example, मैं क्या करूंगा, एक function बनाऊंगा using def. Guys, you all know functions, okay? Don't pretend like you don't know functions. You know functions. Great. करके एक function बनाया हूं. As soon as I hit enter, it is automatically giving some space from left to right because that is auto indentation. Now I will give print hello PU students. Okay. I will hit enter. Again, I will hit enter. There is no error because my program is indented correctly. Now what I will do? I will try to call that function. Great. As soon as I call, it will print hello PU students. Now what I will do? I will create one more function with bye bye. Okay. And I will have a colon. Hit enter. This time I will not indent my code. My indentation nahi dunga. I will come back and try to print bye bye students. Okay. I try to hit enter. Let's see what happens. See, you got a syntax error. Wait, you got a syntax error. But if you read the error message, you will come to know you did something problematic, which is related to the indentation. Okay. If you read the error, expected an indented block because your indentation is not proper. Okay, यहाँ पे indentation तुमने सही किया, that's why you didn't get any error. यहाँ पे आपने indentation नहीं किया, you have not given the space, that's why you are getting a indentation error. Understood, guys? From now I guess you will not do any indentation error. Okay. Okay, moving on to the next built-in exception, that is type error. What is type error? Type मतलब क्या है? Data का type. Okay. See, what does it mean? When you try to mix up the data types, okay, कोई दो data को जब आप mix करने की कोशिश करेंगे, you will get a type error. For example, we have how many types we have? Let's take two types for now. Okay, integer और string. Integer same है. Integer और string same है क्या? नहीं. Then we'll get a type error. Okay, when you try to mix up, let's say I will do 10 plus 20, I will get 30. I will do 40 plus 80, I will get 120. If I do 20 plus apple, is it possible? जब मैं दो int वाले डेटा टाइप को ऐड कर रहा हूं तो मेरे को इंटीजर आउटपुट मिल रहा है. अब यहां पर int और एक स्ट्रिंग दे रहा हूं, कैसे कर पाएगा ये? Then you will get a type error. See, unsupported operand for plus int and string, मतलब तुम एक int और string को ऐड नहीं कर पाओगे. You can add int and int, you can add a string and string. I will give you an example. Okay, let's have a string apple plus mango. भाई ये दोनों strings है. Is it possible to add? Yes, it is possible to add. You see, apple mango, right? In the same way, two ints can be added, two strings can be added, but data of different types cannot be mixed together. If you try to mix, you will get a type error. Hope this is clear, guys. Hope this is clear. Okay. We are at the end of built-in exceptions. The last built-in exception, that is overflow error. What do you mean by overflow? Overflow कब होता है? Okay. मान लो you have a water bottle. You try to fill the water, fill up till it is full. When it is full, even if you try to pour the water, what happens? It overflows. ठीक है? Bottle भर जाने के बाद भी if you try to fill the water, it overflows. In the same way, if you try to deal with some large amount of data, then the memory overflows. Okay? Python के पास उतनी ताकत नहीं रहेगी कि वो handle कर पाएगा. In that cases, you will get an overflow error. Okay? Let's try it out. Okay? I will have number is equals to 10 star star 1000. What is this, guys? What is 10 star star 1000? It means I am doing 10 to the power of 1000, यानी मैं 10 को 1000 बार मल्टीप्लाई कर रहा हूं. ओके, वी विल गेट अ वेरी लॉन्ग रिजल्ट. बहुत बड़ा आउटपुट आएगा. लेट्स ट्राई टू प्रिंट. ओके, सी, पे अटेंशन ऑन द स्क्रीन गाइस, पे अटेंशन ऑन द स्क्रीन. नंबर, if you try to print, you see बहुत बड़ा नंबर आया है. Now what I will do, I will try to convert this into to float. फ्लोट को कन्वर्ट करने की मैं कोशिश करूंगा. किसको? नंबर को. In this case I should get overflow error. See, it's clearly telling overflow error, int too large to convert to float. ये इंटीजर जो है भाई इतना बड़ा है, तुमने 10 नंबर को 1000 बार मल्टीप्लाई किया है and you got this much big answer and you're trying to convert this much big value to float. पाइथन नहीं कर पाएगा भाई, उतनी ताकत नहीं है उसके पास. Okay, so that is a limitation. At that time you will get a overflow error, which is the message clearly stating here, telling that int too large to convert to float. It is very large to convert to the float. That is all about your overflow. Okay, the result is too large to handle for the Python. Understood, guys? Okay, see, here I want to give you a tip. Okay, एक टिप देना चाहता हूं. Okay, think of exceptions as Python's way, okay, of saying something went wrong, but I'll tell you exactly what and where so that you can fix it. आ रही बेटा बात समझ में? एक्सेप्शन आपका एक अच्छा दोस्त है जो आपको बताएगा कि क्या चीज गलत हुई है, कब और कहां पे गलत हुई है, आपको अच्छे से बताएगा so that you can fix it, ताकि आप उसको ठीक कर सको. That is your exceptions. We are done with the built-in exceptions, guys. We are done with the built-in exceptions. So what I will do is I'll just stop the video over here. We have completed the 4 topics in this like 50 minutes or 1 hour video. What I'll do is I'll create a part 2 of this, okay, for raising an exceptions, handling an exceptions, and finally clause, because we have some bit of programming part and understanding part there. So let's not make it a very long video. Okay, usually we'll have a class of 45 minutes. It's already too long, so we'll just stop it over here. Okay, if you face any doubts, please watch the video once more, and if you have any doubts, please reach out me through the WhatsApp group. Okay students, see you in the next video. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.